Welcome back to students. So today we are going to talk about the basic topics of an ecosystem. We are going to understand what is an ecosystem, and then we are also going to understand that how we are going utilizing this ecosystem and how we are degrading it. So let's talk about before talking about the degradation and utilization of the ecosystem. Let's talk about what is actually an ecosystem. We need to understand the ecosystem in order to blame someone, in order to use it again. So natural ecosystem include the forest, grassland, desert and aquatic ecosystem such as ponds, rivers, lakes and sea. We human beings, or you can say man, has modified this ecosystem into agricultural land, urban land or industrial land. Some of the patterns you know. But each of this ecosystem has a common feature that we observed in this field. You can also ask questions to yourself, what does this ecosystem looks like? One should be able to describe the specific feature of different ecosystem in your own surroundings. Make a field observation. See how a urban scenario is different from the natural scenario, how those surroundings has differ each other. Then comes the structure of an ecosystem. What is the structure of the ecosystem? Either it is a forest or a grassland or a water body, an agriculture area, a grazing area, an urban area, an industrial area, a village, your house. It's a part of ecosystem also. What you should see is the different characteristics of an ecosystem. For example, a forest has a layer from the ground to the canopy. A pond has different types of vegetation from the periphery to its center. The vegetation of the mountain changes from its base to its top summit. One more question that you ask in order to understand the ecosystem, that what is the ecosystem composition, is what is the composition of its plants, what is the composition of its animal species. You are quite aware. Suppose make a review of your surroundings. List the well-known plants and animals you can see. Document their abundance, the numbers in nature, very common, common, uncommon, rare, in that manner. Document. Wild mammals will not be seen in large numbers. Cattle would be common. Some birds are common. In birds, which are the common species that you can view from your in your surroundings? Insect species are very common and most abundant. In fact, there are so many that they cannot be easily counted. Of course, I'm not asking you to count each and every insect in your house. Now the third, or you can say the last one, the fourth important question in order to understand the ecosystem is that how does the ecosystem work? Now see, the ecosystem functions through several biogeochemical cycles and energy transfer mechanism. See, a following diagram, you can see the inputs to the ecosystem. How the energy flow through the ecosystem. The sun is the constant source of energy. Energy flows through it and it passes to the different the environment from atmosphere to the biosphere. A nutrient cycle gets started. A cycle like carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle. Energy flow is nothing but a cycle. And of course, you should need to understand the law of physics in order to understand the cycle fully. And matter cannot be created, cannot be destroyed. That's the basic law of physics. Energy can neither be created nor it can be destroyed. It can be converted from one form to another. And nutrients can only cycle. Energy flow through them again and again. So see, the ecosystem, as I have already explained you with the example of a basic cycle, it functions through several biogeochemical cycles and energy transfer mechanism. If you have observed and documented the components of the ecosystem, you are well aware that it consists of living and non-living, or you can say biotic and abiotic features. Biotic features such as air, water, climate, and soil. Abiotic features such as air, water, climate, and soil, and biotic components such as plants and animals. Both of these aspects of the ecosystem interact with each other through several functional aspects to form nature's ecosystem. Plants, herbivores, carnivores can be seen to form food chain. All these chain are joined together to form a web of life on which man depends. Each of these use energy that comes from the sun and powers the ecosystem. Now let's talk about the degradation of the ecosystem. Ecosystem, you know, are one of the base of it, life itself. They are self-sustaining until humans started interventing it. The natural ecosystem in the wilderness provides a variety of products and are regions in which number, you can say, variety of products, number of important ecological processes are present, without which human civilization would not be able to exist. But this ecosystem is continuously, frequently disturbed by human actions, which led to the extinction of numerous species of plants and animals that can live only in different natural ecosystems. Some species, if eliminated, could create a serious effect on the ecosystem. Those species are called keystone species. Remember, the term keystone is one of the important part and can be asked in your MCQ. Extinction occurred due to the change in land use. Forests are deforested for timber, wetland are drained to create more agricultural land, and semi-arid grasslands that are used as pastures are changed into irrigated fields. Pollution from industry and waste from the urban settings can also lead to the extinction of several species. It's not can, it is leading, I can say. The major reason for the depletion of natural resources is twofold. One is our rapidly exploding population that needs to sustain itself on resources, and the growth of affluent societies which consume and waste a very large proportion of resources and energy. Increasing extraction of resources is at the cost of natural ecosystem, leading to a derangement of their important functions. Each of us in our daily lives use a variety of resources. If tracked back to their sources, we can find that these resources were originally obtained from natural and nature ecosystem. Our insensitivity to using these resources carefully has produced societies that nature can no longer sustain. If one thing before wasting resources such as water, reusing and recycling paper, using less plastic that are non-degradable. Cumulatively, this can have positive implications on the integrity of our natural resources, and we can conserve the nature that provides us such a thing. And then comes that how could man and ecosystem should survive together. See, every region of our earth has a different ecosystem based on its climatic condition and geographical feature. There are terrestrial ecosystem on land and aquatic ecosystem on water. As I've already explained you, the types of ecosystem are there. We will talk about the different types of ecosystem in the biodiversity section. Now let's talk about the resource utilization. See how we are utilizing the you can say ecosystem or our surrounding. Most traditional societies use their environment sustainability. Means you are using your environment, your surroundings sustainably. Through inequality in resource utilization has existed in every society, the number of individuals that use a large proportion of resources were extremely limited. In recent time, the proportion of the rich people in affluent society grew rapidly. Inequality thus became a serious problem. Whereas the past many resources such as timber and fuel from the forest were extracted sustainably, this pattern has drastically changed during the last century. The economically better of sections began to use greater amount of the forest product, while those people who lived in the forest became increasingly poor. Similarly, the building of large irrigation projects led to wealth in those areas that has canal, while those who had to remain dependent on the constantly supply of the water from the river itself found it difficult to survive. The key to the issue is the need for an equitable distribution of all type of natural resources. A more even sharing of resources within the community can reduce the pressure on the natural ecosystem. So utilization is nothing, as I have pointed out, that it is how we use our surroundings. The rich one waste it as they don't have means as they have too much to utilize, and poor one waste is as they have too less to do it. And at the end everyone waste the environment. So it's a question to you: are you utilizing the resources that is available to you sustainably? Actually you are wasting, no? You should ask it yourself. So with this I am going to end this lecture. In the next lecture we will talk about some other aspects of ecosystem. Thank you for your patience. Thank you.